TB, and today I am bringing you another recipe from the Calendar Book of Natural Beauty for the month of September. Now, this particular recipe is very special to me. My grandmother, to the day she died, people would compliment her skin and tell her how wonderful her skin looked. And they would ask her her secret, and she'd tell them that before going outside in the sun every day, she would put lanolin on her face. And my mother did the same thing until she bought this book. And then she switched to this recipe because it worked even better. And she also, to the day she died, was getting compliments on how beautiful her skin was and how soft it was. And I'm not sure how long ago, but I found myself looking in the mirror one day and thinking to myself, because when I was younger, I had asked my mom, how can you put that stuff on your skin? It's so heavy. And she just smiled and told me, wait till you get older and then you'll understand. Well, I got older and I understood, and I found the book and I made the cream, and it's called an Olive Night Cream. And I made it and I used it every night for 1 month. And after that month, my skin was so soft that I have just never looked back. My mother and my grandmother knew what they were doing. And after that month, I started getting compliments on people telling me how amazing my skin was. So, if you knew my family, or my mother or my grandmother, and you wondered what the secret was, this is it. Olive Night Cream. It has 3 ingredients. That's it. It's so simple. This is lanolin. You can buy it at most health food stores. They'll have it. If you don't know what lanolin is, it is the oil off of the wool of sheep. And it's a natural oil. It doesn't hurt the sheep. When they clean the wool after they clip the sheep, this is what comes off the wool, and they clean it and purify it so it's just the oil. And I have here 3 tablespoons of this lanolin. This is what my grandmother used originally. Well, to that we're going to add 2 tablespoons. Oh, I do not have a full 2 tablespoons in there. I need to top this off. 2 tablespoons, though, of olive oil, which is where the name comes from. And this particular olive oil is a cold press olive oil. You do not have to use a cold press. In the past, when I haven't had it, I've used regular, but I always use extra virgin. Now, the recipe just says olive oil, but when it comes to olive oil, the better quality your olive oil, the better results you're going to get. So since I bought this cold pressed olive oil, I've switched to using it for all of my cosmetic needs. So now I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and that will go in here. And then it calls for 1 tablespoon, so it's a 3-to-1 ratio. 1 tablespoon of rose water, or orange blossom water, or mineral water. Now, as I have mentioned before in other videos, I tend not to actually scent my things that I use because I just don't want there to be conflicting scents on me. So I tend to just stick with the mineral water. Now, if you don't have orange blossom water or rose water and you do want to scent this, then you can, let's see, try here. You can use essential oils. And I have those in here. This is my essential oils box. And I have a sweet orange here. And so I could drop 10, maybe 20 drops if I wanted of this into here, and it would scent it, and it would probably smell really good. So that's an option. and it won't change whether it works or not. As long as you use a good quality essential oil, it won't affect it. So that if you wanted to have a nice scent, that's an option for you. I prefer to leave it plain. So, for a moment I want to talk about the jar I'm using. You might notice that. You don't have to use a jar like this. You can use anything you have, but I'm just going to recommend these. I have switched to using these for my homemade cosmetics because I love how they seal. And if they go into a fridge, I don't have to worry about them spilling. If they don't go into a fridge, I still don't have to worry about them spilling. But in the case of this, it does get pretty solid, so it's not spilling isn't an issue. But I just really have found I love these jars. They just keep them fresh longer. And the best part is, when it comes to melting this on the stove, you want to, if possible, you want to use a non-reactive container, which means ceramic or glass. And these are glass. And while they have this hinged lid, it is very easy to take the lid off, to use this as a cup for melting it. And then once it is off the stove and is cooled, you can just pop the lid right back on. So that's what I use. And I have this right here. And I'm going to take this to the stove, and I'm going to put it in a pot of water on a stand and just gently heat it just until everything melts, because the lanolin is solid. Unlike the other two ingredients that are liquid, we need to melt the lanolin. After I've melted the lanolin, I'm going to let it sit for about 2 hours, and then I'm going to whip it together, because there is a water in here as well as an oil, and they don't like to merge. But if you whip it while it's still cooling, then they will go together and they will stay together. And I will show you that in a few minutes. It is the end of the day. I have put my hair up for sleeping and washed my face. And it has been 2 hours, which tells you how late I was recording. And here it is. Now, I have this stick to stir. This is what it looks like. And if you look really closely, you can see that there is water separate on the bottom. But we can fix that. All you do, and I love watching this happen, is I stir it in, and it lightens. Not only does it stir in the water, it lightens it. So I just kind of beat it in. And at this stage, it will beat in. And you can see how it's getting lighter and lighter as I beat that water in. And once this is beaten in, it will not separate. There. That's. Now you can see how much lighter that is. And this does not need to be refrigerated. Just don't have it somewhere, have it out of direct sunlight, somewhere where it doesn't get too hot, but you don't have to put it in the refrigerator. It has been a couple of days now, and the olive night cream has completely congealed, room temperature. You can see how much more solid it is. I've used this a couple times. You can see my fingerprints in it. It goes very, very solid. Very creamy, but solid. And it's the end of the day, and I have already washed my face and rinsed with cold water. So the only thing left now is to use my night cream. So it's very easy to use. You just dip your fingers in and pat. And a little bit goes a long way. So it does not take very much. And I'll just use 3 fingers and I'll just barely dip them. So there's just a little bit. And if I get more than just a little bit, I'll put some on another spot on my face before patting. And I'll make sure and get under my eye here. But just pat. And if you get too much in one spot, you can just pat it and then move somewhere else, and it will pick up on your skin, on your fingers. Now, when I first started using this, I just put it on my face for the first month. It made such a difference that now I put it on my neck and my upper chest also. And you can see where I've had sun. I have very rosy skin. So when I tan, my face goes red. I'll switch hands. And that's it. It's that easy. And this will soak in overnight. By morning, it should be completely soaked in. And so in the morning, after I get up, brush my hair, and I'll rinse my, well, before I brush my hair, I'll rinse my face. I'll do rinse it with warm water, followed with a cold water rinse. And it will just take off any last bits, and that's it. I'm good to see the day. That's all I have to do. That's so. Olive night cream. The secret to the women in my family's success. So if your skin is dry and you would like people to tell you how amazing your skin is, give it a try. You might like it. You might find after a month you can't live without it. So that's everything. I hope you enjoy this. And we'll see you next time. Lady B signing off. See you then.